Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lechtei Chmoser podcast. We continue with Pele Yoeitz. We are on page 355 in the Art Scroll. We are on day 135 in the Hachzik. We're in the middle of the discussion of Gezel, of stealing, and now the Pele Yoeitz points out that some people have the mistaken notion that the Isser of Gzela applies only when the victim is a Yid. But now the Pele Yoeitz is going to point out the fallacy of such a thought. Not only is it not usher, and not only is it equal to stealing from a Yid, but stealing from a guy is to be approached even more chomer, even more stringently than stealing from a Yid. Why? Because of the terrible sin of Chil Hashem. Brings from the Sifrei Kabbalah that when a Yid steals from a guy, he causes that the malach of that nation, of the Goyish nation, is allowed to steal away some of the divine flow, some of the shefa me'akdusha el klipa, and lower it from holiness to the impurity of klipa. So this is Alpi Kabbalah. But this is a tremendous tragedy when there are sparks of Kedusha, which we've spoken about in the past, that they're trapped by the forces of Tumah, of impurity. And even though maybe some of you are thinking that there's a halacha that is called Tos HaGoy is mutter, that when a guy makes a mistake, it's mutter. Yeah, it's halacha, it's mutter on Shulchan Aruch, and Chosh Mishpat, but Ava Osel HaToise, it is 100% forbidden to cause a guy to miscalculate intentionally and misinforming him and not telling all the facts. That's 100% usher plus the fact. Makes it even more severe when you have Chil Hashem. Even if you tell him that you're selling him shechted meat, which doesn't really make a difference to him, and really it's not shechted meat, so it's a difference in quality by a little bit, or you tell him it's genuine money and really it's counterfeit, it's all usher and it's guzzle, gomer, mikri. 100% outright theft. Now we're going to identify some other instances of Gzela, which are common, yet to the public they are ignored. There's another form of theft that is prevalent between business partners. When one of the partners is not doing well in his business expenses, and his partner goes and gives money from their business to the other man's wife without his knowledge, he then takes an equal portion for himself. So when you start playing around with money that belongs to the entire company, to the entire entity, and you start playing around and you give it to his wife because you want to make her feel good, but really you're going to do the same for yourself, it's all aser. If you give extra tzedakah or gifts to family or spend excessively against the wishes of the homeowner, so this is all gzela. People have trampled this. Another thing that a person has to be careful of from is if a person says, yeah, I eat and drink and really know that it's against his will. So this is gzela. If you know that he can't afford it, or he's not comfortable about it, or you know that he has limited supply, and he says, yeah, drink, eat, maybe he's doing it only because he's embarrassed, or maybe he's doing it because he doesn't want to look like a nebuch. And he's saying, yeah, you can have some of my food, you can have some of my drink, but really know inside that he can't afford it, or he's really uncomfortable with it, you can't take it. Or because his embarrassment. This is all part of the transgression of Gizela. Another situation is where you try to buy something in the form of, and you bargain a person down so much that it's not even worth it for them anymore. And another example, if you have teachers or any type of labor, but he writes about teachers over here, if they don't perform their jobs faithfully, then their wages that they receive are taken in b'derech gzela. Now we're going to say that theft from family is the highest level, one of the most egregious levels of chet. The pasuk says, "He who steals from his father and mother and says there's no sin, he is a companion to a destructive person." He's saying, "Oh, it's my parents, I can't steal from them." This is complete destructive acts. And due to their averus, there are many children who have reached the bounds of correct behavior, whose upbringing is not in accordance with the way it should be, and they end up stealing from their mothers and fathers. So a child should think back if they have stolen from their parents. The pasuk calls them a destructive person, and a person can just say, "Oh, it's my mother, it's my father," and they're not makbid. No, even if it's your mother, your father, it says the Pele Yoeitz, you have to ask mechila if you stole anything from them. Obviously, if your parent, you're oichel b'shulchan aviv, you're eating by your father, that's not stealing. But if there's things that belong to your parents and you just take them, one certainly has to be extremely vigilant. Certainly, when it comes to his parents, keep it have an aim to make sure that there's no type of gezel. And if one did, then you have to return it and ask mechila. And the Yisrael over here is make sure that you don't have anything that doesn't belong to you and keep your hands clean.